Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 787. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
We're in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
It's Fluid Links today. We sprung Fluid Links on you because why not? Things move around in the schedule, and whenever a Fluid Link suddenly appears, you probably know that, something that was going to be planned fell through or was bumped to another date. And yes, folks, that's what's happening. There's a lot of scrambling going on behind the scenes right now. It's kind of fun. Kind of fun in a way. I miss
that peek behind the curtain, which we then pull the curtain.
Yeah, I know. I miss the danger. I miss the danger of like scrambling to find episodes and stuff. And so I kind of appreciate that. This in the humdrum that is 2020/2021.
I was going to say, during a worldwide pandemic, you know what I don't miss? Danger.
Well, I mean, podcast planning danger is probably the most acceptable form of danger, I think,
I suppose, yes.
That we'll take, but it's actually an exciting time, though, in a way, because vaccines are, even here in Canada, people are getting vaccines. Our respective parents, Warren, are booked for vaccines. This week for crying out loud. So
we will not get vaccines several months hence.
Probably not. But I remember, today in history, by the way, episode 1, today being Sunday, February 28th. February 28th was back in 1981 was the premiere date of Logopolis Part 1. And I remember at the beginning of the end of September, I guess, because when the anniversary, the 40th anniversary of season 18 came along, I thought, I'm going to watch an episode a week and just see where we are by the end of this in life. And here we are as we get to the end. And now, alas, things are finally beginning to look up with people. And I know people who are vaccinated.
Are you saying the moment has been prepared for?
The moment has been prepared by science, Chris. By science.
Just like Christopher Bidmead foretold.
Yeah, he did.
Hail the Bidmead.
Oh, hail the Bidmead. It's we friends of ours have received like one or both of their vaccines in the US and stuff. I mean, they're doing it differently in the US. I feel like by the time Canada's done with their vaccines, our vaccines, that I bet you will probably still be we'll have most of our population vaccinated before the Americans, because there are a large portion of Americans who maybe don't feel like they want a vaccine.
Or there's also just a lot of Americans, period.
That too.
That's true. Like 10 times more than us.
Yeah. So just to cast this in sharply, February 20th being the beginning of the end for Tom Baker, 40 years ago, March 1st, folks, The Timeless Children aired. It's been 1 year since the end of Series 12 on Doctor Who.
Good. Golly.
I know, because that's the big day, because I remember when we were doing commentaries last year thinking, remember this episode we are talking about here being The Timeless Children, when we did the commentary, this aired this calendar year, and it's just like there's a hard line. There's because literally a week and a half later, we were into lockdown. And like next week will be like the anniversary of when everything went to poop in North America.
I want that as an official title.
Yeah. And so that's gonna be weird and rough to sort of like look back, because there'll be people who celebrated 2 birthdays. People who were born in March, especially in late March, basically had 2 birthdays under lockdown or some sort of affected by COVID. But we're pulling out of it, folks. Thanks to science. Science has proven the way once again.
I don't know. My QAnon website's going great now.
It's not.
I have no such thing.
Pulled it down. Yeah. Any other episodes, Chris, stick out to you in this week that was in the history of Doctor Who? I know you're excited about Black Orchid also. Burying the lead here. Timeless Children premiered on March 1st, but Black Orchid.
Black Orchid episode 1. I mean, Adric in fancy dress at a buffet with his gold star badge.
Yeah.
My friends call me Vancouver's preeminent prequel defender, which is only a half truth. I think Chris is definitely the preeminent Black Orchid defender.
Yeah.
No, that's Cat. I'm okay with it. I've got nothing against Black Orchid. It's a fine enough story.
It's
it's
just there.
I don't love it, but
No.
I don't hate it.
It's the funny thing is that Black Orchid...
It's only 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, and then the second episode aired the next day. And I think this is the first instance where a complete story aired in 1 week in Doctor Who history. Was Black Orchid back in this week in 1982.
That's how they plan Children of Earth. You know what we need to do? 8 Black Orchids.
Can we pare it down to 5? Can we do 5? Well, you lose some of the cricket seeds if you do it that way. But there weren't cricket seeds in Children of Earth. I'm going to cut them out. So...
I would have paid good money to see Jack Harkness built like Rickett.
Yeah, I wonder if you can.
Against Peter Davison in 1982.
The year after Enlightenment episode 1 aired, which that's a story lots of people love.
I love Enlightenment. That's a great story.
I also love Enlightenment.
Yeah.
I'm also middling on Enlightenment.
Oh, I love Enlightenment to bits.
I keep waffling on it. Like it's yeah. Sometimes I like it.
It's a great idea.
Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I'm like, this is so long and boring.
Yeah, but it's British TV from the 80s, so yes, of course it's long and boring.
Yeah.
But at least it looks really good no matter what.
I think if I carry on this watching one episode a week of season 18, if I carry it on doing it next year for season 19, like I'd have to like adjust it. Like I'm going to watch Black Orchid today, and tomorrow I'm going to watch the second part of Black Orchid. Which is
this surprises me not one bit about you.
No, I would finish it in 3 months because that's how long it took to air a whole season of Doctor Who when they were airing 2 episodes a week.
Where are you at now?
Logopolis, part one. Part 1 is where, because So like when I would start watching season 19, if I go through with it, which is not a sure thing, because to transition to our lead. Gallifrey One will happen in the midst of it. Gallifrey One has been confirmed, folks, for February 18th to 20th, the traditional President's Day / Family Day weekend for us here in Canada. Weekend is when it's happening, because there was some concern about what the NFL was going to do with their Super Bowl, or as Warren likes to call it, the Superb Owl.
I have never once called it that. I am not...
I thought you had that tattooed somewhere on.
Yeah, I thought you loved it so much that you always repeated it, Warren. That it's the cleverest thing you've ever heard.
Perhaps Bizarro Warren has
tattooed
that on himself. I have no tattoos, by the way.
That's the joke. The LAX Marriott said, "Listen, their hotel block ends February 13th or 14th anyway. So kick them out. Take that Super Bowl. Even if you're playing your little football game at the new LA Metroplex, they're out of the hotel by the 14th anyway. So Gallifrey One can move ahead. I don't know how to feel about this right now, because it feels like it's less than a year, but it's also we've got a lot to do in a year. You know, the 3 of us don't have vaccines yet. Things will change, I think, by the summer, and things will certainly change, I hope, by next February. But like, I haven't even gotten into the mindset of planning ahead for things, and so this is like right now. It's a slightly shining beacon off in the distance, like a lighthouse in the fog is kind of where it is right now for me. I don't know how are you two feeling about Gallifrey One actually being a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's distant. It's but my number one thing when you described them getting kicked out was just a bunch of cosplayers kicking out a bunch of burly football fans in jerseys and going, "Yeah, stay out,"
yeah,
pushing their glasses up in fury as they kick them out.
Which is hilarious, because sports fans really, anytime you're wearing a sports jersey, you are cosplaying. You are cosplaying basically, as a sports person right there. I have a lot of hockey jerseys. I'm cosplaying. I am pretending to be a member of the 1975 Minnesota North Stars when I'm wearing this jersey, and why the hell would I want to do that? But I am.
Because you can't wait to be Dino Ciccarelli.
That actually predates his time. I'm more of a Bill Goldsworthy when I'm wearing the 1975 Minnesota North Stars jersey, but they were a terrible team and merged with the Cleveland Barons in 1978. It's a very exciting history. Chris, how do you feel about Gallifrey One being there? It's set. It's there. It's ready to go.
Yeah, no, definitely mixed. I mean, I'm glad we have firm dates. I'm glad I can start looking at flights and things like that have something to look forward to and all that. But by the same token, whatever happens with the world and vaccines and all that kind of stuff, as Sean mentioned the other week when he was on the show, there's still going to be some differences, like most likely masks and distancing and stuff like that is quite possibly still going to be on the cards, and it's going to make for a weird and different galley.
Yeah, it's not Galley I'm concerned with. It's the rest of the world.
Yeah, that too. I'm.
And I mean, you still have to fly into a stupid busy place like LAX and deal with crowds and
because like for a lot of us, that flight to LA will probably be our first flight on a plane since the last flight to LA. Let's face it.
Possibly.
I guarantee it will,
Yeah, 2 years ago at that point. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I haven't even gone on Expedia's website. I haven't even visited an airline website in a year. Basically,
within minutes of the dates getting confirmed, I was on WestJet's website, but I can only book through to late January. So
we're there.
Information for February.
Oh, I wonder. Oh, now the dance begins. Do I dare go? Let's book a flight. Let's see. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Thankfully, at least here in Canada, most airlines are still doing if you make a booking and something happens, there's no penalty to cancel. You might get airline credits rather than actual money back, but at least you still have something.
Yeah, that's when are things who's going to be the first airline to go? We're going to pull that back now. Everything's fine now. So guess what? You book it, you pay for it. That's how it works. Who's going to be the first airline to blink?
Somebody's going to be somebody's going to be the first, and then everyone's going to follow suit because that's always what happens in an oligopoly.
Yeah. All these things to look forward to. I'm looking forward to, will I be, able to book a flight a lot more than I was looking forward to anything, which was nothing back a few months ago. So
I'm just glad I have a crap ton of points and whatnot that if I book it, and even if I, had to cancel it without getting money back, it's I'm not actually out of pocket because that money was long ago spent.
If you forget about it, does it really ever exist? Probably not.
Well, if it's not sitting in my bank account, then it doesn't matter to me. So
yeah. Anyway, looking forward to it, I think. But I'm not there yet. I'm not there mentally yet. But I'm glad that it's there. It's, as I say, we're planning for it. Because you got to plan for it. It's a big thing.
I mean, my parents getting the vaccine is the first time I was mentally there for this whole thing. I'm like, this actually is a thing that's going to happen.
I know. It's for some reason, the vaccines kind of came along as if here are vaccines, and it was like a slow launch. For some reason, I was expecting big announcement tomorrow, 8 a.m. Everyone stand by and a big worldwide press conference. Yeah,
this is not Avengers Endgame. It's
not.
It's an actual vaccine. We need to get in arms.
I know. Science just sort of science fades in. It's okay, there it is. By the way, some of you will get some, but there was no grand announcement or anything. Yeah.
Facebook rantings. We'll just be over here doing the job.
Yeah, it's exactly. So it's been weird, and like I said, friends of ours in the States and in the UK are getting the vaccine now, and we're still mostly focused on healthcare workers and our senior citizens here during phase 1. But once. We've got 3 vaccines now here. Johnson & Johnson has been approved in the States. It'll probably happen here soon too. We'll have 4 to go with. Some might be better than others. I'd be happy with any of them, to be honest, because any vaccine is better than nothing, and any vaccine helps to drive down the transmission rate. So that's the main goal here. Yeah.
Soy milk is still milk in my cereal. It may not be the milk I want in my cereal, but it's milk in my cereal.
Right? It's I'm an oat milk fan myself right now. I used to be
oat milk is less heinous, for sure.
Yeah.
Soy milk is fine. I'd rather have real milk, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Almond milk is good.
Sorry, vegans.
Well,
it's all better than skim milk.
I'm a vegetarian. Weird tangent that we got on here, but I switched to soy milk a few years ago just for because I like it better. And then I moved to almond milk. But then almonds, you have to grow almonds in like South America and then grind them up and make them into milk and shipping. So it's a lot more. There's a lot bigger global footprint.
Yeah.
For
Also,
almond
if
milk.
Reddit is to be believed, soy makes you less of a man.
That's right. So anyway,
There's the
oat
key
milk.
there is don't believe Reddit.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is whether it's your AstraZeneca oat milk, your Pfizer almond milk, or your soy AstraZeneca. No, I said that one. Johnson & Johnson milk.
Johnson & Johnson skim milk.
Yes, or your Moderna cashew milk.
Yeah, milk's still good for you.
Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, speaking of, so the UK is like starting to open up, perhaps unwisely. Who knows? They've done this. They've done this a couple times, so they might be getting used to it. But
Hooray!
yeah, the UK is starting to end their lockdown. So Emily Cook once again, hopefully for the last time. Hopefully she doesn't have to do this because there won't be a need to go into another lockdown in the UK. She has arranged the final tweet along. For Utopia Sound of Drums Last of the Time Lords. It's already started by the time this episode is coming out.
That's a fine triple bill. Well,
Yeah.
Last time Lords, but still.
But still, you can't just go Utopia. I'm glad that she included Utopia in there because that's obviously the best of the three.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's still my favorite. I wouldn't say it's like my Lawrence Arabia Star Wars situation. Star Wars my favorite film.
Right.
Lawrence Arabia best film. Hellbent or Heaven Sent, which I can never get them right.
No, you never can.
The one with just Capaldi, Heaven
Yeah.
Sent, is the best. But Utopia I still like better because it's my favorite. It's just more emotional, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like the scene between Jack and the doctor. I mean, that's the one that I think
Everything.
about.
The build-up is phenomenal.
build-up.
Everything is perfect about it. It's like watching an amazingly crafted clockwork.
Yeah. And what I also love, the trailer for it, the Next Time trailer, is terrible because it doesn't want to reveal
Absolutely nothing.
anything. So it just looks like
Here's some people grunting.
it looks like a substandard episode of Blake 7 from season 4. And it's just like, oh, this is going to be crap. But, no, it's not. It's got Derek Jacobi in it, and he's the master.
And I've said this a million times before, but at the time, we didn't really know one way or the other. Like, there was rumors the Master was coming back, but that was kind of the first time they'd ever played audio from the old show in it. And you hear Delgado's voice, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it.
Yeah, I know. It was very exciting.
Glorious.
And then the doctor became a little elf guy, and
Yeah, which we're going to
Then he was
forget.
slain.
Never happened.
anyway, so
Metaphorically speaking, that's true.
yeah. But it's still 2020 though. Big Finish has moved Big Finish Day. They were originally thinking of doing it in this year, in May. It was going to be in May of 2021, but so they postponed it. They postponed the actual proper Big Finish Day to early 22. At the Quad in the Derby. The Hoovers people do that. Steve Hatcher and the crew. So it won't happen this year, but early 22. So everything seems to be ramping up to early 22, being like the events happening, like things being safe enough to organize events for early 2022. So
The thing is with this virtual one is that like now I can actually go in quotes to this thing. Like there's no way unless timing really worked in my favor that I could actually do that. But now I can actually enjoy it as a Big Finish enthusiast.
yeah, they are planning
Just be on
another
YouTube.
the Big Finish Day. The 2021 one will be a live stream on YouTube as well.
So depending on what time it's on, like because it's going to be on British time, so it might be some weird time that it's way too early or way too late for me. But
I think they often.
despite that, I can. Yeah.
I don't think it's too. They don't go too early. They don't start like at 8 a.m. So like
No.
midnight for you. So
But the point is, people all over the world can actually enjoy this, which is good. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice if they kind of included a component of this next year. I doubt they will because it's a lot of work. But
No.
it'd be nice if they did.
I don't think they would, to be honest, because trying to live stream an actual convention happening in a place feels like
Yeah, it's not worth the logistics of it, but yeah.
So that's happening there. Also, Big Finish has a whole bunch of stuff because they just keep going. They just keep going. The Third Doctor Adventures comes out in May of 2021 with I think it was you, Warren, who mentioned that it
Not one of them is the original cast.
No, because everyone
which is fine. I have no problem with that. Like, just
Yeah.
people and Tim Treloar is a great Third Doctor as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah.
This is volume 7.
Volume 7 of the Third Doctor Adventures with Doctor Who, Liz Shaw, Liz Sladen, being Sarah Jane Smith, of course, and the Brigadier in these. So two episodes, the Unzal Incursion and the Gulf. Those are coming out in May of 2021. Also in April, Arthur Darvill, thrilled to be back in the Roman robes in The Lone Centurion, Volume 1 in Rome. I remember this was announced a while ago, wasn't it? I
think so, yeah.
They announce it, and then life happens, and then things happen again, and then they release it. And it feels like, didn't we talk about this a year ago? And we did, but it's coming out now. Arthur Darvill, who I think probably was lured back into the role by Jason Hay-Gallery when he talked to him at Chicago Tires back in 2019. So, yeah, I imagine Big Finish is very happy about that. Conventions coming back to being a thing now because it's how they can talk face-to-face with potential Big Finish guests.
In the link in the show notes, there's a little interview with Arthur Darvill, and he more credits Scott Hancock with getting him back.
Interesting. Well, sorry, Jason. Yeah, maybe he broached the topic with him.
Oh, I'm sure it's all.
Yeah.
It's all happened.
It's all happened. So that's coming. So there you go. Some more Big Finish stuff coming to your ears in the spring here. Also, Big Chief is back at it with their 1/6 scale figures. This time
they have they've hit their double goals of incredible detail and incredible price.
Well, that's a typical price.
Captain Jack Harkness.
Oh, I know.
240 pounds, because it's a lot. It's a lot of work goes into these guys.
You're what you're paying for. You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, you get a foot. You get a foot long Captain Jack.
Oh dear.
There, I said it for you, Chris. You can just shut up, sit on the sidelines. I said all the things you need.
12 inches of Jack.
12 inches of Jack. With you can move him around and stuff. He comes with a squareness gun. He comes with an outfit and stuff. He's got 8 interchangeable posed hands to do various things with your 12 inches of Jack.
He's also got a Sycorax sword, quote unquote.
When did he have the Sycorax sword? Oh, no,
it says exclusive free bonus.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think on screen. When did he have the sword? I'm forgetting when.
I don't know if he did ever.
He's got the
correct us, pedants.
I'm glad. Yeah, he's got all the things. Anyway, all the stuff. It's all there. So if you are ones who are collecting these enormously detailed figures, I hasten not to call them action dollies because they feel a little too detailed for that.
I wouldn't want to do anything with them except have them sit under glass because they're absurdly expensive and very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like my little $30 action dolly of, I don't know, Capaldi, let's say, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But these things, I'd be handling them with kid gloves.
Yeah, and these are coming June 2022. So just think how far advanced the world will be after where we are right now in June of 2022. We'd be longing to hang out in departure lounges and airports by then. Actually, I think
remember, kids, dollies don't have COVID.
Yeah, I imagine actually we'll probably be sick of. We'll come back around again. Another departure lounge. Good God, why do we have to sit here?
325 Canadian dollars. This is apparently.
It's a lot of money.
Is it wrong that I said, "Oh, that's not so bad," which it is? Nothing against their hard work.
Yeah, they're limited edition. They're
$25 on a dolly.
Yeah, they're for a limited type of people who go for these sort of things. That's
I say this. I bought Missy first week with shipping for $80. Who am I to talk? And that's
right?
A dolly.
Wow. Yeah.
I know. But did Missy come with the Torchwood Bluetooth earpiece? I don't think so.
Why would she?
I remember that you got...
That would be an inaccurate doll.
Did you get... refresh my memory, Warren. You ordered Missy, and she arrived, and then you brought her to England, I think, because that was around the same time, right?
I believe so,
yeah.
Yes.
To be in some dolly shenanigans.
It shipped from England to North America.
Which I'm not sure I ever even did, to be honest with you.
No, because we were busy doing other stuff in the UK because it was fun and fascinating back in the pre-Brexit days. I'm sure it's just a tire fire now. No, it's fine. Is it?
Ask Brits. They'll tell you it's a tire fire.
Yeah, probably. Last bit of news. Peter Capaldi-related news. There's an online convention going on called Capital Sci-Fi Con. It's not bi-monthly, sadly.
Well, boo.
Yeah. He has signed and donated one of his last Doctor Who scripts for an online charity auction. He posted a little picture of me signing up there. I can't keep being somebody else. It's for the Dr. Falls. And he signed it. You can bid on it. You can bid on it for charity. It's for a good cause, because that's what Peter Capaldi does. He does things for a good cause, and he doodles and stuff, and he's great. And I still miss him. It's been several years since he was Doctor Who, but I miss him as Doctor Who. So there, virtual Capital Sci-Fi Con. I don't even know when it happens, but it costs £3 online, and you can March 13th. Yeah, March 13th. So a couple weeks from now. So there you go, Peter Capaldi, signed script. Yeah. Oh. Anything else? Anything else you chaps want to add before we move on here? Just
can't think of anything. Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
No. Okay.
There's one thing. No.
What do you got? Come on, let it out. This is the time to do it.
Something like when we do the news list. There's a lot of stuff that we'll skip over because it's about people who used to be in Doctor Who no longer doing Doctor Who stuff.
Okay.
But apparently there's a TV series of the Time Traveler's Wife in development with Stephen Moffat heavily involved. Which,
I remember that announcement from several decades ago. Yeah.
I didn't put it in the news list because I'm like, Moffat's moved on, whatever, it's all good. And then I'm just sitting here thinking, well, I mean, he did kind of rip off the plot to Time Traveler's Wife for
Girl in the Fireplace. Girl in the Fireplace, I thought, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't Girl in the Fireplace. It was 11th Hour, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Anyway, he was heavily influenced by the book for one of his Doctor Who scripts, and I was involved in the TV series. And so that's the thing that's happening. I don't know how far along it is or when it's whatever, but that's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Oh. Well, there you go. I haven't seen any info, but apart from that, but there's so many sites that say, someone here is doing this boss, and then you read the articles like, he mentioned it, like, that'd be fun in an interview or something like that as a confirmation that he's doing, like, it looks like Chiwetel Ejiofor would be Doctor Who, because someone probably asked him, so would you want to be Doctor Who? Yes. Yeah, sure, maybe. Confirmation.
Pearl Mackie the other week was interviewed somewhere, and she said, maybe I might revisit Bill. So of course all the headlines become Pearl Mackie coming back as Bill. Yeah, I remember that. It reminds me of when one of our Gallifrey One live shows, when director Lawrence Guff, who directed the first 2 episodes of series 10 with Bill, oddly enough, and we asked him this standard question: so would you want to come back and do Doctor Who? He says, no, I'm done. Just like I did my 2, I'm moving on. That's what.
Then the headline would be, "Go done with Doctor Who."
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. There's no easy way out of this. So,
the internet has become like that stupid TMZ show where they have this stupid bullpit where they all talk about stuff and they all act like jackasses. Right. That's all right. That's basically what these headlines are. That.
This feels to me, Warren, like a good opportunity for you to talk about WeGotThisCovered.com.
No, I won't talk about. I won't give them any time of day. I think they're actually. I will give them the time of day. Say they're absolutely awful merchants of filth. Please do not read them, and they're garbage headlines.
You heard it here first, everyone. Good day. You heard it here first. In fact, we have got it covered when it comes to We Got It Covered.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah, and with that, it's time to play Fluid Links.
Do you know what this is? Fluid Link K57.
Ah, yes, of course, the Fluid Link.
What's a Fluid Link?
No idea.
Yes, Fluid Links, where you send in your questions and comments, and we randomly select them, talk for 3 to 5 minutes about them or something tangentially related about them, and solve nothing in the process. This is how we do it. So here we go.
Congratulations, us.
Yeah. Here's the first Fluid Link. Comes from Vinny Gerstoke. Is this G soft or is it hard? I don't know. Anyway, on Twitter, he asks... I
don't know, is your G soft or is your G hard?
Hard.
That's enough.
Yeah. Colin Baker. Listen, I gave you the John Barrowman one, all right? That's your free pass. Colin Baker and Peter Capaldi both appeared in other roles before becoming the Doctor. Out of all the supporting cast in the last 56 years, who would make a good Doctor? Whoa.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Well, Lytton, for one.
Maurice Colburn?
Maurice Colburn.
Yeah, Maurice Colburn. I'd love to see him as a Doctor.
Sadly passed.
Well, okay, what's our rule? That doesn't matter if they passed, or we just kind of... If we're ballparking here, does it really matter?
Yeah, it's true.
I think the question implies it doesn't matter if they're currently alive or not.
I suppose. Or to use one of my favorite quotes from Hitchhiker's Guide, what we demand is rigidly defined areas of doubt and uncertainty.
Exactly. Also, we could talk about that person becoming a classic doctor. So.
Yeah, that's true. Because heck, that's how John Nathan Turner casts people. Oh, he looks good in a suit. Let's cast him. Oh, he entertained people at parties. Let's cast him. That's actually quite like who. So basically, that's a good way of thinking it. Who entertained who at a cast party? I'm thinking the guy who played Murray, the bus driver, was the MC at the rap party at Delta and the Bannerman, and it was like very entertaining.
He was, yeah.
And I probably John Nathan Turner says, I'm gonna maybe think hard about casting a new doctor
No,
at
the
some
question
point.
is who we think would, not who John Nathan Turner thought.
That's true. But sometimes it's fun to put yourself in the mind of the producer, the actual people doing the casting.
Yes, I have this Hawaiian shirt on for that very reason.
Yeah. Oh boy. I like to try to think of new modern series guest stars. Are there anyone? Lee Evans.
I'm just going with Eric Sayward stuff because
Lee Evans.
Remember the guy? No, thank you.
I bloody love you.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
For whatever reason, of all the people from the revamped series that come to mind, like that could be a good doctor, Dean Lennox Kelly.
Who's that?
Shakespeare. Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe.
I think
he leaps to the forefront of my mind for some.
Honestly, I have a harder time with new Who than I do old Who because I was thinking I can't remember the name of the actor, but the guy who played Orsini. I'm going with this Eric Sayward stuff. He'd make a good doctor.
William Gaunt.
Yeah.
Would Bostock still be his companion?
Yeah. Why the hell not?
You know what? I think it would be really fun just because we've had like Colin Baker played a role and Peter Capaldi played a role. What about someone who played two roles? What about Freema Agyeman as a doctor?
I was just going to say the same thing.
So
yes.
she's been in before, and then they had to explain her why she looks familiar to the person who was in the season Doomsday, and now she's Martha Jones, and now we have to think why does the new doctor look like Martha Jones now, and then you have to explain that away.
I'll do you one better. How about somebody like Cyril Shaps?
No, he's a perpetual second stringer guy.
Although
that's fine. That's his job.
Technically, Peter Capaldi was in the universe twice because, of course, he was in Children of Earth as well before he was Doctor Who. That's a rare feat for Capaldi to be able to be in it basically within a year of each other, too. He was in Pompeii in 2008 and Children of Earth in 2009. And 3 years later, he's announced as Doctor Who. That's an impressive feat. Golly. So yeah, Freema Agyeman for me that would be hilarious, and I think she'd be awesome at it too. So,
here's somebody I'd like to see as a doctor.
Right. Okay,
Georgia Moffat.
No,
she's got the experience of being the wife of a doctor actor and the daughter of a doctor actor,
and indeed the daughter of a doctor. Of course,
she would bring. She has an utterly unique perspective on Doctor Who actors.
Wow.
I was going to say Gemma Redgrave, but and it seems derivative because she kind of looks similar to Jodie. But
I suppose
I think she'd make a good doctor. I think she would play a good doctor.
I'm really liking the Georgia Moffat angle because that would mess everything. Because we're like messed up with the Tennant Davison relation. Like I don't want he's played like it's so to throw Georgia in there. Oh. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's confusing.
I know. I want it. I want it to be confusing. Chaos. We're into chaos here at Fluid Links. This is what we do.
Oh, I got an idea.
Okay.
This is a little more classic. The guy who played the general in Hellbent and in Day of the Doctor.
Ken Bones.
But the choices.
Yeah.
But the choice is it him or is it the woman he regenerates into?
Because
either of them would be a good doctor. She'd be great too, actually.
How about both? They can alternate scenes.
I didn't really pay attention to it because it's a Netflix series, but she was in that Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah,
and
which is shot here, I think.
Apparently, she was really good in it.
She's great in Years and Years. She's fantastic. She kind of ties the whole thing together in Years and Years.
She'd be awesome as Doctor Who then.
So I think let's get Ken Bones. He could be your companion. Why not?
That would be so cool.
Or he could be the master because he kind of looks like what's his name, the bald master from
Donald Sumter. Yeah.
No, the other one, the master. I can't remember his name. He's in Big Finish. And he's a very good master.
Oh, Alex McQueen. Yeah.
Yes. Or just get Alex McQueen to play.
From the thick of it, I like Alex McQueen. Yeah. Lots of good choices there. I think they're all winners, to be honest. I said that we didn't.
So back
All right.
back in the early days,
Okay.
William Russell, Ian was there to kind of like do the things the Doctor's not supposed to do, like fight and whatever.
Yeah.
How about Ian Chesterton as the Doctor, or William Russell as the case may be?
He's basically William Riker, so why not Jonathan Frakes as a Doctor? It had nothing to do
Jonathan
with Doctor Who at all.
Okay, beard or no beard?
Oh, beard. You got a beard.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I need a bearded doctor, I think, at some point. And really, all Jonathan Frakes does, he doesn't actually answer anything. He just comes in and goes,
Exactly.
have you ever
In the
gone?
TARDIS set.
Have you ever gone to a cafe at 3:00 in the morning? Have you ever wondered why? He just keeps asking you questions with
Billy,
no.
do you like movies
expectations.
about gladiators?
Yeah, all sorts of things.
So basically, just take a supercut off YouTube and just play that for
That's
an
your
hour
new
on
doctor.
BBC One.
That's your new doctor right there. You just splice in Jonathan Frakes as host of that weird Fox show.
What do you want? It's a pandemic. Here's
as,
what we got. Take it or leave it.
Doctor Who. Perfect. All right. Next fluid link. Joe Mendoza, Doctor Who Joe, on the Twitters, asked us this. What Doctor number will we make it to when the show is given its next long rest? Maybe the rest that ends the show for the rest of the lifetime of fans currently 50 and over. Oof. That's
Ew, I don't remember this one
morbid
at all.
question.
What a morbid
Currently 50 and
question.
over.
I mean, Stephen Moffat did say once, somewhat depressingly, that we will you will never see all of Doctor Who because it will continue on after we are gone, which is a sad and disgusting notion.
That's a
kind of
happier,
selfish not for it to happen.
a happier thought in a way, though.
Is it though? I don't know. It's why I don't like science very much. I don't like hearing things about like space exploration. They go, "Oh, cool. When are we going to do that? Oh, probably 2070." Ah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what they do with space stuff. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go to Mars in 2040.
Yeah, thinking,
great. I'll be 60 years old.
It's going to be sad. I want this to happen
No,
now.
I'll be 70 years old. Never mind.
Yeah, it's called a dissolve, folks. You go from rocket launch to dissolve, and you're landing on Mars. That's how it's done.
This is the problem. Is we well, two directions here. We've been raised by television, and that's why we think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I just want to take this to be my biannual complaint about the film Mission to Mars, where they have two chances to show a launch and a landing on Mars, and they don't do either. Oh, it makes me so mad.
Wow. I've never watched
terrible
Mission
film.
on Mars, so I don't.
Terrible film, and they made it here, and I heard from people that it was just a disaster behind the scenes as well.
Is that the
Oh.
Val Kilmer one?
No, it's the Tim Robbins, etc. one.
Oh, disaster bound. Oh, I'm all about disasters behind the
It's when Brian De Palma said, "You know what? I'm done with making good films."
De Palma. Oh, there you go, right there. I watched The Untouchables during this last year, and it was wildly overrated.
How dare you?
Untouchables.
Way is great.
I love the Untouchables back when it came out. And then try to watch it anytime since, and it's just such a cringeworthy show.
Okay,
Doesn't
but
age.
I have to say, the day that Sean Connery died, my sister said, "I guess he had enough of this running bleep," which is a very obscure line from the movie.
Wow.
He finally brought a knife to a gunfight.
We'll get to get to your question, Joe. I promise.
Hey, yes, we will.
That's
so
interesting.
how many what Doctor number are we going to get to when the show rests again?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that
I mean,
the gist of it.
right now there's a lot of broadcast deals, basically, which prevent Doctor Who from ever being rested. Not that it's in any need to be rested.
Well, for now though, I mean, because let's say the rumors hold true that we're getting a new Doctor at the end of the series 13.
All right.
We'll
have at
3-year,
least
4-year average, right?
Yeah, like who takes over from Chibnall? It's not like we can't find anyone to take over from Chibnall or something, or a showrunner or something like that, and that's why we're moving on. I don't
There's
think
no
that-
shortage of talent on
none.
either side of the
No.
camera.
No. That is
well,
interesting though. Like I think, like how long would a rest be? Like I don't think they'd wait 16 years if ever they decided let's stop and then bring it back 16 years later. I think that's nonsense. I think there's this weird thing
know. I don't
this
know.
weird thing that went around for a while. It was like, oh, they're planning to like have it end on the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and that'll be like the big
Well,
ending.
based on what? Somebody's speculation on some
Yeah, like
on social media.
exactly. I
Somebody
don't.
pulled that out of
We
their
got this
backside.
covered it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm trying to think of like other franchises and stuff. Like you think of like say Battlestar Galactica or something, which had a little over 20 years in between iterations, versus something like how many iterations of Spider-Man films we had between Toby.
A lot of that is a contract thing, though. That's
I suppose so.
That's
I suppose
strictly
so.
because they had to keep the copyright.
But still, they had Andrew Garfield. They had Tobey Maguire. They've got Tom Holland. You know, there's lots of change there, in much less time than something like Battlestar. We've had other shows that have had rumored reboots that just didn't happen. Like or like even Red Dwarf has taken rests and come back and.
But the reason specifically for Spider-Man is because there is a massive amount of money involved. There's way less. There's money involved with all the other things you talked about, but nothing like the amount of money that was involved with three different studios in Spider-Man. So that's why things got rebooted, because it's money on the table otherwise. Mm.
But the point being, like, if you look at other things that have had rests and reboots and all that kind of stuff, like, it's all over the map as to how much of a gap there is, and that doesn't help me answer the question about Doctor Who.
Also, streaming, it's like the Paramount Plus, which used to be CBS All Access. They're bringing stuff back that has no reason. Like Love Story is coming back. My parents barely remember Love Story, right?
Well,
but it's coming back as a series. The Parallax View is coming back. Just a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Just because they own the rights to it is coming back.
Like,
so what I'm trying to say is they'll bring stuff back because they got the rights to it. So Doctor Who might
Hollywood has no more original ideas, as people say.
I feel like the waves of nostalgia keeps bringing things back, and so like to cancel Doctor Who when they are coming up with 11 new Star Wars shows and like 5 new Star Trek shows, like I feel like when's the right time? Like Doctor Who sort of ended.
Another Battlestar Galactica allegedly.
Yeah, Doctor Who ended in 89 because like the general enthusiasm towards science fiction was sort of going. Like it was like, I know Next Generation was a thing, and like, but like,
but
BBC,
that was it kind of.
The BBC was tired of it. It's science fiction. Like, there's Red Dwarf, but whatever, it's a comedy. We'll stick it on BBC Two. And so but now I think like the type of show that Doctor Who is kind of is the moneymaker now, and so it's tough to think about the BBC sort of going, that's it, that we're not doing it anymore. Like I think that Doctor Who will, like, the BBC might lose interest in it before the show is being interested in being rested, and so I think the show would move to like an HBO Max / BBC co-production, and it would like I could see it going away from BBC One and becoming a streaming entity before I ever see it being rested, is what I mean to say.
But part of the reason... Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, is it the moneymaker that you talk... Like, yeah, it's got all these distribution deals and all that kind of stuff. But is it the moneymaker you say it is? Because when you're talking about, like, 5 Star Trek series and 11 Star Wars series and whatnot, is it just like another Jenga block in the puzzle where if you take it out, there's not much really different because there's so much other stuff to make up for it?
What I was going to say is that it's with the 10,000 foot view. Forget about Doctor Who for a second. Is that all these streaming services are coming online? They're all competing. They need to fill these buckets with stuff, and the stuff they've got is the stuff they own the rights to. The BBC doesn't have that problem. The BBC can do whatever the hell it wants because its mandate is completely different from that.
Right.
So you're right. It might be a streaming thing, or it might not, depending on who waves a red flag at BBC and says, "Oh, by the way, we'll pay for most of this." My personal guess is it'll be another 10 years. Another 3 or 4 doctors, and then whatever the version of TikTok is, that's what some kid will be doing Doctor Who on for the next 10, 15 years, and that'll be the new wilderness years on some service I'll never watch because I'm old.
Do you see a guy like Philip Siegel as an example, like trying to swoop in and say, "Hey, let me give it a shot"?
Well, I think it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility now because things are co-productions are such a big thing. They weren't back then.
Alex Kurtzman comes along and says,
"Oh no,
I can do this. I can do this for this money.
I'm out
and deliver you this many episodes.
No,
I want a chance.
Just cancel Doctor Who. Just kill it dead before Alex Kurtzman takes it up, please." I know you did that to trigger me. I appreciate it.
Consider him triggered.
It would be funny if, like, the great streaming service implosion happens, and like, Disney and Paramount both just go broke trying to bankroll all these shows, and like people just decide to start pirating again, and just thinking, no one's still paying for our service, so we have to cancel. And like
Disney still has Marvel money to play with. So
I know.
Okay.
There is no way Disney's going broke.
No,
it's not going to happen.
That would be hilarious. I'd like, what if there's a big giant turn against science fiction again, and we move on to I don't know.
And there will be.
There will be, and like that's the thing. In 2005, Doctor Who like came back amidst sort of a stuff of like just very dark and dour kind of like like Battlestar Galactica, let's face it, like the post 9/11
Firefly wasn't that much before.
No, it was a failed show, let's face it. It was canceled.
But it was still like
through.
gritty and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the type of thing. And then Doctor Who came back and it was like this fun and fresh kind of thing. And now I think that you can have room for all sorts of different approaches to genre stuff. You look at WandaVision, you look at the grim, dark stuff that's going on. I think there's room for everything now, as opposed to just a sort of here's how we're sort of, this is the trend of things. So there'll always be room for Doctor Who, and because of that, like I have a hard time thinking that it would be rested for a long time. Yeah. I could see it sort of thinking like this is it, like we're done, and then like maybe 3 years later. With a new... I
don't even think 3 years would necessarily pass. Like, if you look at... You talked about when Doctor Who went off the air in 89. Mm-hmm. If you kind of do a comparison, so in Britain, there obviously, PBS was doing it in the States and, here and there elsewhere in the world. But in Britain, you've got, 4 channels in 1989? There's not much... Right. There's not much bandwidth to fill. Versus, as Warren was talking about, all the buckets for the streaming services. Mm-hmm.
And things were a lot more siloed back then. Like, look at all the Korean stuff that's on Netflix now. 10 years from now, as technology gets cheaper and easy, not easier, but it's more affordable and more reachable, someplace like, I don't know, Vietnam or someplace in South America might become the new place that all the good stuff's coming from because nobody's seen those stories before. So that might be the thing we're watching instead of Doctor Who, instead of other stuff.
There's a great series called 3%, which ran for 4 seasons on Netflix from Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is stuff we just didn't have access to before, and now we do. So
it's more of a worldwide thing. I think the long rest won't be that long. I think it'll be put down if it's ever like say that's it, we're done. Like when I say long rest, like I mean like the BBC saying that's it, and we haven't announced when it's coming back yet. That's what I sort of count as like, an uncertain future, basically. But then I think as I said before, it goes away from BBC One and becomes one of the things for HBO Max to try and lure viewers in, and just becomes a thing there. I don't think.
And also, less people watching isn't as much of a big deal as it used to be.
No, because as long as you have the subscriber, it's not viewer, it's not you're not having to justify a TV license or anything like that. You're not having to justify overnight ratings as much anymore.
Well, they're essentially meaningless.
Yeah. Well, as we've talked,
although WandaVision did crash Disney apparently last week, so.
Oh. Wow. As we've talked about ad nauseum, the 14 million or whatever that Voyage of the Damned got. That's you're probably never going to see that again outside of like maybe the Olympics or some focused thing, but
some live event, some event television or something like so usually a live
Beyonce concert, So the fact that a decade ago Doctor Who got X million viewers and now it's half that amount is
same as everything else.
It all represents the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's never going away. This podcast is never going away either. We're in a race. We're in a race for immortality with the show that we're covering, and neither of us wants to blink. So,
I'm gonna say, there's 3 problems with that. Our eventual demises.
Is it though?
We can come back as holograms.
Holograms.
Great. Listen, just like Tupac.
We've recorded so much over the last 14 and a half years that we can just sort of program in algorithms. And we can just say the same stuff anyway, like we always do. So it's episodes for years. There'll be episodes of Radio Free Skaro going for 100 years after we're gone.
Marge does become a robot.
Yeah. Anyway, next food link. Socrates, who I like to call Socrates, Socrates Zorba FC on Twitter asks, which Doctor Who stories did you initially find disappointing but eventually came to appreciate, and which ones did you once really love but your opinion has declined?
42
Yeah.
springs to mind.
Lots
I
and
really
lots.
like 42 now, and I didn't at the start. I
Oh,
don't know about
interesting.
flying, though.
Yeah.
I remember back when, in 2005, when the first series of New Who aired, I put, as many nerds are wont to do, I ranked the season, the episodes of the season, and far and away I had Dalek at the bottom of my list.
Really?
And,
Wow.
and then, of course, since then it has risen so much higher.
Is it because you met Rob
phenomenal.
Sherman and then you felt bad and you thought,
No,
I suppose I should like it because he's a nice guy and
It's
kind of
nothing to do with
not,
being friends with Rob. It's just the fact that I, for whatever reason, thought it was not good at the time, and
Wow.
since then changed my mind.
That's an interesting turnaround. I didn't know you disliked it so much back then. That's impressive. Oh. Warren, you said 42.
Yeah, also I'd say Rings of Baccatin I don't love, but I hate it less.
Oh no.
Apparently, it's Trigger Steven Day on Fluid Links.
Yeah, what are you
So,
doing to
yes.
me here? What are you doing to me? No,
Sorry.
that was not good. Did I watch it recently? I did, because I think they watched it for Verity sometime in the last year, and I just think, okay, what the hell, let's give this in like 20 minutes, and it's just, nope, it's still crap. Still hate
You
this.
noped out.
I was in the room. I never decide to, like, you know what, I'm just going to fire up the Xbox and the other TV there and play along with it when you know, Erica needs to watch some Doctor Who for Verity and stuff, because I'm always in, because I like Doctor Who and stuff. I do not like that episode, so I do not watch it. I had it. It was
I don't
there in the
love it. It
background.
just was better than I remembered.
No, it's just terrible. Just a terrible episode.
Just to throw my 2 cents in for the other half of the question, stuff that I used to like, and it's diminished in my opinion. I think, with the exception of the 5 Doctors, the Peter Davison era.
Oh yeah,
I used to adore the Peter
dear,
Davison
sir.
stuff when I was much younger, and then as I've gotten older, I'm like, this is so not so great.
I could say that for the Colin Baker era. I was very much a lover of the Colin Baker era, as just out of contrariness probably, and there's a couple really good ones in there, but yeah, it's once you know the background of everything, you're like, oh, I kind of feel it here.
Does that mean that the Sylvester McCoy era is the opposite, where you hated it and now you love it?
No, it still sucks.
well, hey, but you
There
know
are some
what?
constants in this universe, and that's one of them.
I'm taking the victory of Curse of Fenric, and that you've reappraised that one a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit.
fair. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Fenric's
fine.
awesome.
I think the Pertwee era has sort of risen a little bit in my esteem.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
love
trying
the
to-
Pertwee era.
I know you have, yeah. I'm trying to think of individual stories though, and you know, I'm someone who usually likes everything.
Death of the Daleks. Death of the Daleks.
Death to the Daleks. I don't think I disliked that one. I know that's your favorite
I do.
Dalek
It's
story.
not good.
Favorite Pertwee Dalek story.
Yeah. Man, it's the things that I love, I've always liked Doctor Who. So like, it's not like I've ever been that disappointed with an episode. I'm trying to think, like, maybe now that I'm older and cynical, and like some modern Who episodes haven't hit me the same way, like, you know, a new to me Doctor Who story did when I was like 10.
I think this is probably going to apply less to Warren than it would to you or me, Stephen. But what about things like stuff you might have watched years and years and years ago as a recon, but now we have like an animation or
that would be,
they
Enemy
all
of
the
the
episodes
World,
got
which-
found like Enemy of the World.
Yeah.
We all were surprised that Enemy of the World is as good as it was, because we all thought that it wouldn't be, thanks basically to Doctor Who Celebration, which is my version of a recon. His opinions. Gunfighters, not anywhere near as bad as he says.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, yeah, perceived fan wisdom, like wiping that from remember. I remember loving Silver Nemesis when it came out, and that could be because
Or
there was-
Attack of the Cybermen, but I still love it.
I still love Attack of the Cybermen, but I shouldn't, but I do.
So do I. I
Silver
do too.
Nemesis
I
was
can't help it.
such a weird beast because let's face it, the episode itself was not as good to me as the making of Silver Nemesis, which aired on PBS I saw it in like late '88, maybe early '89. Before I ever saw Silver Nemesis. And so I had this episode to look forward to, but I also like that hour-long thing fueled my interest in TV production, in music, Everything like that was so formative for me. And then I watched it and I was like, whoa, there's like Cybermen exploding and stuff, because I like Cybermen and they were like dying, and I thought it was really, really cool. And then I watch it now and I'm going, oh, this is really bad. This is so bad. I don't know. How can it be 3 episodes yet way too long? It's just not.
It's really is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So that one has probably fallen the furthest for me, is Silver Nemesis. I'm trying to think about.
I remember. Okay, here's one. I remember
right.
as a kid not being too thrilled with. I know you're going to find this blasphemy. Image of the Fendal, and really liking it a hell of a lot more.
I adore
now.
Image of the Fendal.
I think it's very
I
much.
just didn't appreciate it enough.
Yeah, I think
at
it's
the time.
more. Some things need to be appreciated more than perhaps
Kind
liked.
of. I hate to say this, but it's more adult than most Doctor Who is.
Yeah, it is,
and not in
very
an
much.
adult quote unquote way, but more like geared in an adult storytelling.
Yeah,
There's also other stuff in season 15 that needs greater appreciation than it receives, like Underworld.
I was
always
waiting for that.
I always liked Underworld, though.
Okay, I'll give it this. Like, until Steven said, look at what they did with what they had, I didn't really appreciate Underworld. But now that I see that they had nothing to work with, and they basically did, MCU level stuff with nothing at the time, and it didn't pull it off, but still good for trying.
Yeah.
I gotta give them points for that.
So basically, it's exactly the same thing as the big Thanos fight at the end of
100%.
If it was made, the Thanos fight was made with garbage bags and and just sheer willpower, then yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a modern Who episode that has gone up. I think I enjoyed Unicorn and the Wasp more than I did at the time.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of other ones. Like
Voyage of the Damned stayed exactly where I thought it would. It was okay when I saw it, and it's okay now.
I enjoyed that one relatively.
It's middling as far as I'm concerned. You know what? Last of the Time Lords. It's still got many elements that are dumb, but I can appreciate what came before and how it kind of up until the end,
right,
is meandering towards a good end, and then it doesn't. But there are parts to it that I like.
Man, I'm trying to think. I don't know if enough time has passed for me to reevaluate.
I'm trying to think of ones I really loved that I don't anymore, and that's tough.
That one's easy.
The classic ones.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think like which ones did I not enjoy that I've like improved upon, and I don't know. I can't think of many. I guess my opinions never change when it comes to Doctor Who. That's a sad fact, really. I like to think that I evolve with my opinions of Doctor Who. But seeing that I mostly like everything to begin with, I suppose it's good that I don't find reasons that I don't like it,
I was going to say you tend to be the most positive in general of the three of us.
So if anything, things have gone down just because they can't possibly maintain that the weight of carrying expectations, Yeah. All right. You got any more, Chris? You got any more of these? Or
End of Time still sucks.
Thank you. You said what we all thought.
You were dancing. We were all dancing around it. That has never risen.
Also, we've passed the 2020 rule, so we can say it now.
We can surely say it. We can do it. Yeah. All right. Next fluid link. It's a music question. Be careful here. What's Richard Patterson, Richie P the third, on Twitter asks, what's your favorite musical embellishment on the original theme tune? Derbyshire's Extra Squiggles, being like the from the Troughton onwards. Gold's Fanfare for 11. Like purely theme song. Akinola's bass drop. Something else entirely. What's your favorite embellishment?
I'd have to say. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm going to give the same answer I always give.
Which one? Which one is it?
Howl's Middle 8. That's what mine is. Just doing the when that kicks in. I'm
the
just
key,
like, yes!
The raising the key to F sharp should be blasphemous from E. E is the E minor is the original key for the original theme and has been for pretty much every version apart from Kev McCullough went to A. Just for you musical nerds out there, that just kick up one tone to F sharp. The whole of the Howl thing, I think, just gives it that extra energy. They dropped it down to E for the closing credits of Meglos Part 4 and only that. And it just felt like, this doesn't feel like it has the same energy. It has to be an F sharp. So, golly, I could pick so many parts of the Howl version as my favorite bit. But you're right, the middle 8 is just really, really pops and comes alive, doesn't it?
And This might be blasphemy too because it's very 80s, but I love Dominic Lynn's at the beginning of the Colin Baker.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
That's my. That's
Is
my
it yours?
That's
Yeah,
that's eternally my pick.
That's your favorite version ever, isn't it?
It is.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it? Why is that one your favorite version, Chris? Just do you have you ever thought about why?
Oh, I don't know. It just resonated when I was 13 or something, and it's stuck ever since.
It felt new and exciting at the time. I remember, like, oh wow,
And this isn't the theme tune, but the lady singing song that they brought in for Eccleston.
Yeah.
That just grabbed me by the throat and said, "Okay, dude, this is new.
Yeah.
I like it."
I do like the bass drop from Akinola. I didn't like it at the time, but I like the for Matt Smith's first couple seasons that that little horn bit before the main theme comes in. I expected to hate that.
I still don't like it.
Oh,
It's not my favorite thing in the world, though.
no, I don't. Whenever I listen, actually watch especially a Troughton one because the theme is longer, just like the news show. I always insert. I hum along to the Murray Gold editions whenever I'm watching Classic Who now. So I feel like that has made more of an impression on me than I ever thought. I do love the extra spangles, I believe is what it was called, when they added on some extra reverb and stuff on the original theme tune for Troughton, which carried on up until the end of Tom Baker. I like that little bit. So yeah, but oh god, the Howl version, it just kicks. It just
That's purely age too.
It's-
Like that's the age we were. At
it's
the time.
so
But still, I don't
1980.
care.
But you know what? A lot of things have sort of gone back to that sort of analog synth sound anyway, because it's the synthesizer that sounds the best. And
And if we're talking about stuff that when we were kids, like just when you see the Pertwee and / Tom Baker time tunnel era, and you hear those weird chimes in the beginning, like the stuff in the background, that also is fantastic because it just reminds me of watching it when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Or 12, I guess.
yeah. Anyway,
So no love for the Delaware, or no love for Kef McCullough, or
No Love for Kef McCullough is the only tattoo I'm ever gonna get.
it's so weird that I loved the McCullough version when it came out. Just loved it. But that's the one the bass line for that is like the most. It departs the most from the original. Just the way that it's played and stuff. It's an entirely different rhythm. It's so weird, that McCullough version. It does sound kind of see blast, different key, different bass line. It just feels like, yeah. I appreciate how the John Debney version for the TV movie starts with the middle eight, essentially. Like that's the beginning of the
Debney
tune.
version.
Yeah, I don't like the way it ends on the end credits. It just feels.
One thing I'll say that hasn't explicitly yet been said is I like that. I mean, obviously he's a professional composer. This is what he does. But I like that Murray Gold has had the creativity to rejigger the theme tune multiple times and still have it interesting and fun.
The amount of stuff Murray Gold is, like or hate his music, you just have to admire the breadth of it. Like just Heaven Sent, for instance. There's so much just in that one story.
It's
that is
stunning. Yeah, like I'm just saying, like he did I think 3. So he did the Eccleston one, which carried up until the end. I think he added to it.
Voyage of the Damned, there's the rejigger.
It rejiggered, and so that carried through into the end of 10. So there's 2. Then he did the Matt Smith one. Then he did another Matt Smith one for season 7. Then he did the Day of the Doctor special one.
Yeah.
The Capaldi one is great too. It's got the good chimes.
I'm not a fan of the Capaldi one because there's that weird little warble in there when
I think it fits with the gears and stuff. It fits the visuals that are going with it.
Yeah. He did a lot, like 5 or 6 different versions of the same theme tune. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't do 1, let alone 5 or 6.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't even hum it properly, frankly.
I mean, I'm a podcaster, so I never have my ringer turned on, but my ringtone is the Peter Howell theme. So
is mine.
So, like,
and my alarm is the TARDIS, so which is a great way to wake up. Actually, it's just very gentle.
You can't go wrong with whatever your ringtone is. Anyway, here we go. Last fluid link. Here's the question from Stephen at Haphazard. Sorry, at Has Happered. I see what he did there. Assume that Ghostlight is one story in a themed collection. What is the theme, and what are the 2 or 3 other stories in the collection? So this is back when
throwing it in the garbage.
This is back when, of course, they did like box sets for stories, like the Awakening and the Gunfighters came out on the same one for some reason. Remember
first
that?
Off,
yeah.
The format will be VHS because that's all Ghostlight deserves.
No, we'll do DVD. It's also like like the mythology one, like what Horns and I am on Underworld and.
Okay, well, Time Monster. Let's throw an incoherent story. So Time Monster,
right.
Warrior's Gate, and what's another incoherent?
Warriors
one?
of the Deep.
We could do 3.
That's coherent.
We could do 3. I like trilogies. Let's keep to 3.
That's my 3. That's my 3. Time Monster and Warrior's Gate and Ghostlight for the. I don't know. It's just got an emoji of the shrug guy in front of it, and a scarf and Tom Baker hat.
Right.
I'm gonna go with house-related theme. So Canine and Company, and Into the Fendall.
I was gonna say Image of Fendall because that takes place mostly in a house too, doesn't it? Yeah.
With a Toby Haydock special inside of it, and it's like a home renovation show. They renovate somebody's place to make it look like a TARDIS console room.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I'm gonna go. Let's see here. I'm gonna stick that and Planet of Fire and Meglos on it because they're because
what links those?
5Q, 6Q, and 7Q, the production codes. So we're going.
That is the
code.
worst thing ever.
Absolutely. It's just for me, though. It's just you basically group it together by production code. Oh, there's Q's ones. You could get others. There's other options in there. You can get Frontier in Space in there if you want. You can get the Face of Evil, of course. You can get the Web of Fear or the Space Museum. All in there. You can get the Q box set. And John, for some reason, John Delancey would be there, and he'd be introducing it. Thinking, here's 7 stories from a show I never appeared in, but it's Q, so
unless he did it from underneath a hood or a getup, then it could be the QAnon series.
Oh, boo!
I thought we agreed we were done with that. I do like.
Well, it's also incoherent though. So there's that like.
What other stories feature dialogue that's drowned out by music a lot of the time? They could go in that.
I'm trying to think of other positive things. Like you could do like some sort of like Victorian set, so Ghostlight and maybe Talons of Weng-Chiang,
Unquiet Dead, and throw them in there. What the hell? Why not?
Evil of the Evil of the Daleks, yeah. Assuming that all these are and Unquiet Dead would be a bonus on like disc 4 or something.
How about this? A Pretentious Nonsense 2 set, and I love Revelation of the Daleks, but it is Pretentious Nonsense.
Pretentious Nonsense. That is the one I would like. That's immediately what I thought of. What other Pretentious Nonsense? The Warrior's Gate, as much as I like it, does fit the bill as Pretentious Nonsense. Yeah. Maybe you could put Kid in there too. I don't know.
Kid is totally pretentious nonsense.
Yep, exactly.
Kid to Snake Dance.
And so Snake Dance when you hear it down. Right?
Yeah, so pretentious nonsense, really. Because when you come, if you don't understand what's going on in Ghostlight to begin with, then it fits perfectly because it could be about the Mara as much as you know. Also, I think that Eric Stadnick loves all 3, so I feel like that's the Eric Stadnick box set right there, the 2 Mara episodes and Ghostlight as introduced by Eric Stadnick. I think that might be the way to do it.
I think I would buy it just for that, just so Eric gets a few bucks on the side.
Yeah,
too.
There's a special episode of Doctor Who: The Writer's Room for you, Eric.
The Eric Stadnick box set with the Mara set and Ghostlight. And Eric explains everything to us and why it's the best thing in the world, in the universe, as told by Eric Stadnick. There we go. We solved it for you, everyone. Thanks again for playing Fluid Links. Always fun to drag those out. Next week there'll be an episode of this podcast, and maybe something will happen on it. Who knows? Because that's it. It's crazy. It's mailed in March, as some of the hockey scribes have called March, because February is usually a busy time for them, and then they mail it in on March. But no, we're scrambling behind the scenes to bring you more exciting content week in and week out on this here podcast, Rooted for Skaro. So do join us for it in March. Until then, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.